This video is about fear. Have you ever woken up in the morning and felt the sense of dread, fear, and you don't know where it comes from? Maybe it's something you watched or read or listened to the night before. Maybe it's a dream you had, remnants of a dream you can't remember. Maybe it's something you ate. But sometimes fear can grab a hold of us and it doesn't always make sense. And it's those times when it doesn't make sense that it's most often debilitating, because we think there's something wrong with us. We think that there's something that we have to do, there's something that we have to create, there's something that we have to learn. We're feeling that fear, we're not quite sure what to do with it. I can tell you that my life, oh my gosh, so full of fear, so full of fear. Even now, sometimes I wake up and I realize, oh, where's this fear coming from? And I know it started in childhood. Of course, my childhood was very traumatic. I had a fear constantly of being punished, the physical abuse that came with punishment. And my father, he didn't just dock your allowance for a week. He got very physical. One of his favorite methods was to strip me naked in front of our family and beat me with a fiberglass fishing rod. Most of the times I didn't even know what I did. What happened? I don't understand. What did I do wrong? Tell me so that I don't do it again. And of course, that created fear. What he was seeking to control, me, it was not out of respect that he was able to control me. It was out of fear. The fear that he instilled in me. The next time I do something wrong, it could be worse. It could be the same. So when we're in that anticipation mode of what's going to happen, it creates fear. You don't know what to do with it. But that fear of physical violence is what led me to study martial arts. I wanted to be able to protect myself, so that if someone did decide that they wanted to victimize me physically, I would be able to take care of myself. And then I started studying in the martial arts. Well, I had more fear. What if I can't learn it? What if I can't figure it out? What if I can't figure out how to fall and roll and get back up? What if? My first tournament, I had so much fear. How could I get in front of all of these black belt judges and do my kata and do what I was there to do when I felt like they were looking at me and judging me? And of course, that's what judges do, right? They judge you. But it's not about judged in a competition. It's about judgment of self, right? We think we're not good enough. We think we didn't learn it well enough. We don't have enough confidence in ourselves to say, well, I couldn't be in this division. I couldn't be competing if I didn't know what I was doing. It doesn't mean I'm the best at what I'm doing, but it means that I have what I need. We don't talk like that to ourselves, right? No. We allow that fear to really creep in and take over. And sometimes that fear can decide whether or not you're able to compete, whether or not you're able to keep going. But I don't think anyone wakes up in the morning and thinks, I think today I'm going to choose mediocrity. I think I'm just going to be mediocre in everything that I do. I think that I am not going to try at anything. I think I'm going to fail. That's what I'm going to go for today, failing. I can't imagine anyone that wakes up and thinks about that. I can't imagine anyone who thinks about their future. They see themselves as a superhero who fails. We like to think of ourselves as being able to do something wonderful, to be something wonderful, to have something wonderful. We don't decide that our life is going to be crap. We don't decide that. And when I moved into the martial arts, those fears, that's okay. I kept studying. I kept saying, keep going, keep going. And that's what led me to start doing the work that I do, teaching the messages that I teach. When you start to look back at the fears that you had, and you realize that each time I'm not going to say conquer the fear, because I don't know that we conquer the fear, but I think we make a decision, whether consciously or unconsciously at some point, and we say, there's something that I want. And so, yeah, I'm afraid, but I'm going to keep going. Doesn't mean we really conquered the fear, but we keep going, right? And then I had a fear, maybe that I would never be a mother. After having 2 miscarriages, I gave birth to 2 beautiful daughters. Then I had a fear of divorce. And when that happened, I kept moving through that. And that's when I published my first book. And that's when my business began to grow. And then I said, you know what? There are other women out there who want to have this empowerment piece. And I thought, I'm going to create a networking group. But I had a fear. What if nobody comes? What if nobody shows up? What if I'm no good at this? What if nobody wants to hear what I have to say? But it's interesting because women came. Women were excited. They were telling me, this is so wonderful. Thank you for doing this. This is the best part of my week. I learn so much when we're together. And I've come to realize that fear is actually a guide. It can be a guide to, no, don't go that way, or it can be a guide to, you're feeling fear because of the unknown, right? We all have that known zone in our mind. And don't Google it. It's a Nancy word. You're not going to find it anywhere. It's a word that I use when I work with my clients to tell them to think about that we have this part of our brain that I call the known zone. And it's what we believe we know based on our experiences. But we can't just know based on our experiences, or we'll stay the same, stay the same, stay the same. So fear encourages us to keep going, keep moving. What do I want next? I've heard people say, feel the fear and do it anyway. But I can tell you that sometimes when you're gripped with fear, or when you wake up in the morning and you feel fear, it's not like we just tell ourselves, oh, that's okay, I'm just going to ignore this and keep moving. No, because we have this belief in us that something is terribly wrong. And even though all the work I've done, everything that I teach, I still can wake up sometimes in the morning and realize, oh, what is this fear coming? What is this fear that I'm feeling? What's happening? What am I thinking about? The difference is now I know to sit with it and say, okay, so there must be a belief coming up, something I believe to be true that's causing this fear, this feeling of fear. Because I know that fear is a surface emotion, because there's only really 2 emotions, love and fear. So if you're feeling fear, it's coming from something that you believe to be true. And I sit and I ask myself, okay, what do I believe is true for me that I would wake up to feeling this way? And the answer doesn't always come to me, but it might be something like, oh yeah, you tried that new program and that's taken off this week. So maybe you're thinking like, ooh, maybe it's not going to work out. Maybe nobody's going to show up. Maybe nobody's going to be interested. Because we have all of these thoughts swimming around in our heads. And, 95% of the thoughts we think are the same thoughts we had yesterday and the day before and the day before. And the more you think about the same thing over and over, that's what a belief is. It becomes a belief. So when you sit and you say, okay, not quite sure where this is coming from, but what do I have to believe? What must be true for me in this moment that I'm feeling this fear? And if nothing comes to me, if I can't put a name to it, put it in a category, which is something we really love to do, don't we? Then I sit and say, well, okay, if I can feel this, then I can feel not fear. What would feeling not fear feel like to me right now? And then I sit and think about something happy, something that brings me joy. And I think about something that I'm looking forward to going forward in the day. Like, oh yeah, I get to work with this client today. Or, oh yeah, I get to create this course today. Or, oh yeah, I get to post this information today. Because what I do comes from a place so deep inside of me that is so happy. And anything that comes from that kind of joy, that kind of happiness, you know it's coming from a place of love, not a place of fear. So when you think about the things that you're really afraid of, stop and ask yourself, okay, is this coming from something that I experienced in the past? Because when we experience something, we can get those emotions trapped in our body, right? Maybe that fear of punishment. Maybe I no longer believed that I was going to be physically punished, but when you're physically punished, you still have the remnants of what it felt like, whether it's shame, guilt, remorse, confusion, anger, victimization, pity. We hold those emotions in the body. And those are the emotions that become cyclical. They become habitual. We think about them and we feel them and we don't even realize it. And because we're feeling them in the body, the fear is coming in. This is where it's very helpful when you understand the power of healing your inner child. Because we all have that little boy or girl inside of us that has been traumatized or has been through a really emotional experience that they wish they hadn't had to go through. And if they haven't learned to heal it, if they haven't done the work, and they're still carrying it with them in their adult life, they can be triggered. It could be a sound, it could be a movie, it could be a song, anything, a voice, anything could trigger you. And something could trigger you just before you fall asleep, and you wake up the next morning and you feel this fear. So when you think about fear, stop and ask yourself, is this really where I want to put all my energy, attention, and focus? Is this how I want the rest of my day to go? The thing is, you have to be willing to do the work. You have to be willing to say, no, this is not me. I'm not letting this happen anymore. I'm not continuing with this. You have to be willing to do the work. Or you can go on automatic pilot, right? You can wake up and you can feel fear, and you could get up and feel grumpy and, allow your day to unfold from there. But you get to set your intention every morning. You get to set your intention every minute. You get to set your intention every time you feel something really joyful and happy, or something sad, frustrating, fearful. When you're feeling fear, it's a great time to say, I must be on the right track, because I know that this is going to pass, and when it passes, something amazing is going to happen. And even if the amazing thing that happens is simply that you feel better, or that you're proud of yourself for not giving into the fear, both are positive, right? Both are positive ways to think. Everything is energy. And you have the power to shift your energy at any given moment. You don't even have to figure out, what is this fear? What the heck is this? What's this all about? All you have to say is this really where I want to put all my energy, attention, and focus at the moment? And then, if your answer is no, well, what would I like to think about? Maybe puppies. That would be cool, right? Or ducks. Like, I live right next to a lake and I love to hear the ducks out there quacking, quacking. They quack me up, man. Think of something that's going to elevate your energy, elevate your mood, put a smile on your face. And that, by the way, simply smiling. When you feel yourself frowning, if you smile, it's impossible to stay angry. It's impossible to stay fearful because you can't be fearful and happy at the same time. It's impossible. So again, see, you have the power. It's simply a matter of knowing the tools, of asking yourself where you'd like to have your attention, energy, and focus going, and then say, okay, what is it that I want right now? Because it only takes 16 seconds of holding on to a really positive thought to shift your mood, to shift your vibration, to shift your energy. And then if you can hold on to it for another 16 seconds, and another, and another, and another, man, you really start to shift everything in your life, everything in the moment. Because remember, everything happens right now, in the moment. This moment is all that matters. So the next time you're thinking about fear, or the next time fear is grabbing a hold of you, ask yourself, is this really where I want to put all my attention, energy, and focus? And then something that I'll tell you from experience, sometimes the answer is, well, hello, I don't really have a choice. This is who I am. It sucks to be me. It sucks what happened to me. It sucks. It sucks. And we go down that negative rabbit hole of all the things that happened in the past because we don't let go of it. We have created our identity around it. And to really let go of it would cause us to let go of our current, present identity. And that's the thing that is most difficult for most people. Because the fear of letting go of your identity comes from not knowing what's going to happen next. So often we hold on to something negative because that's what we know. Remember, that's what's in our known zone. So think about, all right, if this is not what I want to feel right now, what do I want to feel? And if you can't grab a hold of something in your mind, in your thoughts, that's more positive than what you're feeling, think about ducks or puppies or something that makes you happy, and hold on to that thought for as long as you can. And you'll see the fear will start to slip away. If you have any questions on any of this kind of work, visit me at masteringyourbeliefs.com. Let me know how I can support you, because being happy, being joyful is way better than living in fear. In the meantime, this is Nancy Muller, the one and only Life Sensei, saying ciao for now.